Hey guys, my name's David. This is Sweetie. This is Fate Unbound, and welcome to the inside of my travel trailer. We have made it out to the mountains along the Oregon coast a little too early in the year, and so we're dealing with a lot of really rainy, foggy, and cloudy days, which can be kind of difficult to get through when you live off-grid like I do. I'm out boondocking out in these mountains. I don't have any hookups, and so I rely on solar to generate all of my electricity. And yeah, this is the fourth fully cloudy day in a row where I'm bringing in little to no solar input. And so yeah, I just wanted to make a video for you guys talking about how I continue to live off of solar when there's no sun. The first thing I do when I know that I've got a lot of cloudy or rainy days in a row and I'm not going to be bringing in very much solar power is I just go into like energy conservation mode. I switch my refrigerator over from electric to gas. And I kind of stop using my high draw appliances, so I won't do any like gaming on my computer. Instead, I'll do forms of entertainment that don't require any energy. Go on walks, I'll play with Sweetie, read a book, you know, those kinds of things, or like work on chores or focus on repairs and maintenance that I need to do to the trailer or the truck or whatever, instead of, using my computer for entertainment. Because that computer pulls like 300 watts when it's being used, and I have to use it to get my work done, to edit these videos. And so also, if I can like push off editing to when the sun is shining again, I'll do that too. And a fairly high draw appliance that, in my opinion, is a necessity if you're gonna be doing a lot of camping in the Pacific Northwest is this dehumidifier on the floor behind me. It pulls about 20 amps when 20 amps of 12 volt when it's running. And so, yeah, that's a pretty decent draw. But I like to run that thing for multiple hours a day when I'm camping in this area because it's so foggy, so misty, and so wet all the time that, you know, having something like that doesn't just provide comfort, but it also like staves off mold. But yeah, when I've got a lot of these cloudy days in a row, I just can't run that as much as I want to. And something a lot of our viewers might not think of is that I also fully shut off my inverter. I don't just leave the inverter on because they can pull, you know, between like 1 and 3, maybe more amps of 12 volt. And having that like 3 amp draw just constantly for 24 hours a day really adds up. And so by turning the inverter off also, that will save you a lot of electricity too. And yes, you do lose access to your 120 volt appliances while that's off. But if you need to run something for a short amount of time, like a coffee maker or whatever, you know, just turn your inverter on, do what you need to do, and then shut the inverter back off. You'll still have all of your 12 volt, like your water pump and your lights and all those things. So just because there are clouds and heavy fog right now doesn't mean that my solar panels are bringing in no power at all. Typically in heavy clouds, they'll still bring in 10, maybe 15% of their total power. And so my rooftop solar panels right now in full sun will bring in about 45 amps of electricity. And right now with these heavy clouds and fog, they're bringing in almost 6. And so, yeah, that's between 10 and 15%. And so to help boost my solar input on these foggy and cloudy days, I'll bring out this ground panel that I got from Renogy if I don't already have it out. This is a 300 watt folding ground panel, and so it increases my solar input by nearly 50% because I have 640 watts on the roof of my travel trailer. I love the flexibility that having a ground panel like this gives me because if I don't need it, then I leave it packed up. It folds up really easily, really nicely into a compact shape that just fits really nicely in the suitcase that comes with it, and I just pack it away. but when I need it, when I need that boost of extra power, I get it out. And what's really nice is I can move it with the sun, and so I can take advantage of morning sun because I can face it directly where the sun rises, and then I can also take advantage of evening sun for the same reason. Whereas the solar panels up on my roof are fixed. Yes, I can tilt them up, but in the summer it is more efficient to have them flat on the roof, but that means that I miss out on that morning and evening solar energy. I used to have a different ground expansion panel, but I was really unhappy with it. It was only 130 watts, but it was very heavy and it was not easy to set up. It was very like rigid and didn't want to open up smoothly. So I got this Renogy one, even though it's well more than twice as big as far as solar output as my old ground panel. It's lighter and it opens up so easily, and the legs on the back that fold out open up easily too. I've been really happy with this. And I was pleased to find that the connectors they use on the wiring are MC4 connectors, which are waterproof. These are standard solar connectors, and they're the connectors that I use for my rooftop solar array also. And so the fact that they are using MC4 connectors also is great. And I was pleased to find that it came with a 3-year warranty too, so if I have any problems, Renogy will take care of that. And so, you know, if you guys are wanting to increase the output of your solar system really easily and have the flexibility that a ground panel gives you, I'll go ahead and drop a link in the video description below so you can check out what Renogy has. Almost the entire time I've been traveling, I've had some sort of expansion ground folding panel, and I just really like the flexibility that it gives you in addition to the solar array up on the roof. So having more solar input is great and it's really important, but for getting through a lot of cloudy days in a row, what's even more important is having a large battery bank. And I do. I have 920 amp hours of lithium batteries, and that is just obscenely large for what I need. Previously, I had 400 amp hours, which honestly was quite a bit less than I needed. I always knew that I needed at least 600 amp hours, and when I got the chance, when lithium prices really dropped, I jumped on getting 920 amp hours of lithium batteries, and yeah, that just really helps me get through the cloudy days. And then I'm on my 4th cloudy day in a row, but tomorrow is supposed to be nice and sunny. And so that one day is gonna give my solar panels up on the roof, and combined with that 300 watt expansion panel on the ground is really gonna charge my batteries back up to a point where I could last another 3, maybe 4 days of no sun and be just fine. And so yeah, when you're thinking about, okay, how many amp hours of battery do I need? How many watts of solar do I need? What you really need to think of is how many days do I want to be able to get through without, you know, with little to no solar input. Hey, sweet girl. She just came up to say hi, that's funny. And then you need to think, how many days of full sun do I want it to take to charge me all the way back up to full? And having kind of that mindset is going to help you determine how many solar panels you need and how much amp hours of battery you need. And so for my setup, despite this being the 4th day in a row of full clouds, no sun, I'm still at around 60%. Yes, I have been conserving my power just in case, because this is the Pacific Northwest in late spring, and so cloudy weather is going to be more common than sunny weather. But yeah, I have some hydro appliances like my computer and that dehumidifier I've been running, but yeah, I'm getting through it just fine. As a backup to the entire solar system I've got on this trailer, I do also have a small power station ready to go. It's fully charged in case something happens, in case I do start to really run low on power, like if my batteries get down to like 15%, I don't really want to discharge them any deeper than that, because it will start to harm the batteries. You know, if you don't discharge them below 20% really, or 15% especially, ever, then it's going to really extend their lifespan. And so thankfully that hasn't happened yet with my new batteries, but having one of these power stations on hand is nice because with my old battery bank, it was pretty easy to draw that one down to about 20%. And so I would get this power station out, set it right next to my computer where it's at, and I would plug my computer and my monitor into the power station so that I could still work. I could still edit video despite my house batteries being low. This thing, it's only about 85-ish amp hours. It's 1152 watt hours of storage, which is like about 85 amp hours. And so, you know, I can get about a day's worth of editing done with this power station before it needs to get charged back up also. But usually that's been like just the little extra boost that I've needed. And what's nice about these power stations too is you can plug your entire RV into them also if you want everything to be powered. But that's not really what I use this for. I have it so I can still get work done if I need to and my house batteries are low. And having like a portable expansion panel on the ground is nice for charging these back up too, so that I don't have to like turn my inverter on to charge this from my batteries, because that's just a lot of inefficiencies. You're converting the 12 volt from the house batteries to 120 volt that then goes to this and then gets converted back to 12 volt. And so each of those conversions is about a efficiency loss of 10%. And so being able to just charge this directly from that ground panel outside is really nice. And so while I would say having a power station like this as a backup isn't a necessity, it is nice and it gives me peace of mind as an off-grid full-time RVer. And then lastly, as a backup to the backup, I have a inverter generator, just a small 2200 watt inverter generator that I keep in the bed of my truck here that I can pull out, fire up, and charge my batteries back up. This thing is capable of sending well over 100 amps into my batteries. And so this bad boy can charge my batteries up in no time. And so having this around is great. I haven't needed to use it in, gosh, it's been over 7 months since I've needed to use this to actually charge my batteries back up. And that was back before I had 920 amp hours. That was back when I only had 400 amp hours of battery. And so now that I have that massive battery bank, I don't see myself utilizing this very much. And I've got that 300 watt ground expansion panel, which is gonna make this thing just even more useless to me. But I think it's still important to have around, like I said, like a fail-safe. If for whatever reason something goes wrong, I can provide power to my trailer with this. Like say something happens to my batteries have some sort of failure, or my inverter has some sort of failure, or I truly do run out of power because of just a ridiculous amount of cloudy days in a row. I've got this thing as a backup to the backup, and I will still have power. You know, I'm out in the middle of nowhere. I'm up in the coastal mountains of Oregon. Ain't no one up here to help me out. And so having this generator just adds, yeah, like I said, a fail-safe. It gives me peace of mind knowing that, yeah, I have it for whatever I may need it for, when and if the time comes that I do need it. And even though it's been 7 months since I've used it for, you know, its actual purpose of creating electricity, I do run this thing once a month just as maintenance. You know, letting engines sit for extended periods of time is hard on them. You need to circulate that oil through the interior or through the internals of the engine just to keep them all coated in a nice fresh film of oil. Otherwise, you can actually have like internal bearings start to rust, internal components start to rust, especially in extremely humid environments like the Pacific Northwest. And so yeah, you want to exercise your generator at least once a month, let them get up to full operating temperature. And that's been the only reason I've had to pull this thing out in the last 7 months. And like I said, going forward, I don't think I'm gonna need to use it very much. And so that is how I, as an off-grid full-time RVer, live off of solar when there's no sun. Basically, I conserve my electricity. I've got that 300 watt Renogy expansion panel that I can put down to boost my solar input by 50% when I need it. And then I've got my backups. I have the portable power station and I have the generator as a backup to the backup. And yeah, having these fail safes, having that ground panel to boost my solar input gives me a lot of peace of mind, so that, yeah, I just have all these ways that I can make power when my primary way of making power is hidden away behind clouds. And so I really hope this video is helpful to any of you out there that are looking to power your RV adventures, whether it's full-time RVing or whether it's weekend RVing, off of solar. Solar and RVs go hand in hand just perfectly and let you escape out into the deeper parts of nature without having to be tethered to a power cord at an RV park or a campground, which for me is invaluable. I love my solar system on my RV so much. I really despise running my generator. I don't like the noise. I don't like having to maintain it, and I don't like the exhaust. I like the quiet, serene, peaceful nature, and solar lets me power my RV adventures with no noise and no maintenance. They just sit up on the roof and silently generate power. I mean, it's magic. I love solar. It's just such a cool way of making power. But anyway, if you guys like this video and you want to buy me a beer, you can go through that QR code right there, and I'll also post a link in the video description below just to make it easy on you. But my name's David, this is Sweetie, and this is Fate Unbound. And if you like the video, then please consider subscribing. It would really help me out. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye! Yeah, did you say bye to the people? Good girl, Sweetie.